Let it roll.
You got your cerveza?
Oh, yeah.
Cerveza.
Brought to you by
Want to hit
Pepperoni.
him with the shades, you know? Keep it
The
real.
Shadowskis.
Classic Tito. Hey, what up? What up? Thanks for tapping back in. Thanks for all the people that checked out the last video. 100 Years of Wealth. It's Big Callus. Big boy. 100
It's Mr.
years.
Nixon.
Got my
You
boy,
know what
Mr.
it
Nixon.
is.
What's up, man?
We're back in this thing.
I'm back in this thing. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Good
it's
to see
regular.
you.
It's regular.
Hey, cheers. We got a new sponsor.
Yeah, new sponsor. Brought to you by Pepperoni.
The last one didn't work out. Nah. But yeah, man. So thanks for tapping in. We got a few things we want to touch on and just kind of dive in and politic on some relevant topics that have been running through the media and
That's
wanted to get
Mando.
your opinion. One thing that I really wanted to start off with was something that was just I was peeping out. It was kind of rubbing me in certain directions, and it's one of those things where at first my reaction was it was like, this is how I feel. And then as I got little pieces of information, saw little clips of certain things, I was like, okay, I can understand how the other side feels that way. But it's the topic of
The suspense is killing me.
ooh, that build up, right? Hey, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
But it's the topic of, black people in hip hop, or black people as the founders and creators of hip hop, and then Latino influence or part, their participation in the founding of hip hop. Were they founders as well?
Yeah.
Were they just like contributors that came along later?
Yeah.
What was it? And it just becomes a heated topic because a lot of people feel very personal about hip hop, depending on how you look at hip hop.
Yeah.
And I think I personally kind of grew up with the going looking at things through like the lens of like the essence of hip hop, right? Like while some people might be into rap music or like gangster rap or street culture in certain areas, I think people that were involved with hip hop, like true hip hop, that golden era stuff, look at it in a little bit of a different lens. So I don't know, you want to spark it off? Let me know your thoughts there.
Shit, dog.
What's your thoughts on this
I
topic?
think there's a like a tangible like there's an attachment to the shit for Black Americans especially. Not very much of what we create or innovate do we get to keep and own as our own. You know what I'm saying? And um very even more seldom are we like the face of what we did.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
usually
For sure.
obfuscated and made to seem like something else. And that I think, obviously rubs us
Rightfully
wrong.
so.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Right.
So when it comes to something that I think for just the large majority, unless you're getting into the thick of that discussion, but just offhand, it's a Black art form. It's a Black American art form. You know what I mean? And um, getting into the thick of who was there and what parts were contributed and all that, there's merit to that. I think that there's a discussion to be had,
right,
about like who was there, who participated, you know what I'm saying, yeah. But as far as like what it is and like what it was like made up out of and what it was the result of, it's a Black thing. And I don't think that's a slight to because it's the New York scene is like the real like epicenter, right, where the bomb blew up. So like,
right.
Oh yeah. So like that is you look at the dynamics of the different people who were present for what the early 70s and what was going on. I'm of course there's Puerto Ricans and Cuban and all kinds of cool hodgepodge of folks there who I'm sure were were listening to it, pushing it, going to the functions, and probably rapping or trying to participate, whatever. But like, I think when it comes down to, like I said, where it came from and like what it's the result of and what it came to be and what it represents today, I think it's a Black thing.
Got you, for sure. I guess what I would say on that is like I definitely agree with you, but like kind of like you were saying, I think that comes from like it could be 100% like all the way thoroughly accurate, right? Like down to the who were the people who officially did this or that. It could have been all Black people, right? It could have been, even if there was, let's say, a Latino person or Puerto Rican involved, it could have still been like a manifestation of previous Black art forms that are coming through a new culture, and these are the people that are around. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's different people contributing, so I could see it like that. I guess it's depending on like when I think of like I was watching Crazy Legs talk, right? And I think of Crazy Legs, and I'm like, he's like an originator, right? He's like one of the founding, like, you know, break dancers in the founding most notorious historical graffiti or breakdancing crew, right? Rocksteady. So it's like when you think of like founding established elements of hip hop, you would have to consider. You know, you could probably give me information. I was like, no, they learned it from this group or whatever. But like when you talk about like the grand, you know, early days, late '70s, early '80s, they were definitely there, right? So looking from his perspective, and then you know the other side, like so my like when you think of hip hop, right? Some people are like rap, right? Some people are like rappers, right? And obviously 99.9% dominated by Black men, right? And like Black women, right? So you would think of it completely as a Black art form. But when you think of hip hop, let's say culture,
the culture,
the elements,
and the elements which are for the historian, it's rapping, graffiti, breakdancing, and
DJing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it from that perspective, then you might be like, yeah, like Kool Herc was a true founding DJ of, you know, he was like the one who was the one that
arguably one of the guys.
They give him credit as the founder of hip hop,
George
right?
Washington shit,
right? Is it true? George fucking Washington.
It's like fuck it,
Well, hey, they said he's the one to first put the break beats on 2 turntables.
I mean, like, right? Like, but who, like, was he the first guy? Like, you know, we weren't in every room with every person, but the guy to popularize it and to put a face to it,
get credit. No one's really disputed it. It's Kool Herc, right? So you would give him credit for, not for graffiti though. You would give him credit for that, unless as part of his DJing he somehow found a graffiti though, right? But my point is that like if you get real fundamentalist in it, that's where it could be different, because Cap One is like an original graffiti artist, a big old white boy from New York in like the late 70s. You got Cope 2, you got, you know, Taki 183, these Puerto Rican kids, right? I think Taki 183 was Puerto Rican. But my point is that that's where that perspective could come from.
Yeah.
Of like, nah, I know people that founded certain elements within hip hop, but I do get the other side where Black people are like, all right, if we get foggy with it, that's where like you know, it can, something that truly is in its roots. And the main thing we're talking about is really what's looked at as hip hop nowadays, which is the music side of it. Because I don't think people are like, who's the great graffiti artist? Like no one's fucking in public talking about that shit, you know? But I get how it's like one of those things where like, don't even like, we don't want to water it down with that. And some people just don't even look at that past as the element of like, of what they're trying to, you know, and if you're not looking at that and getting that particular with it, there's no way you can not consider it a Black art form. You know,
right? That's what I was saying. And it's just like, if we're just looking at it on its face, boom, it's not much to argue with, right? If you want to get into the reads, they, like you were saying, there's all these different faces, all these different people, blah 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 blah. And I don't think that any of the Black founding characters would like argue their presence or their like impact, da 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 da. But like as a graffiti writer and as a rapper, you know, someone who's done music and who's done graffiti, and as an artist, you know what I'm saying, and as a designer, and I'll put a playlist together. I'm not a DJ, you feel me? It's like a cultural feedback thing, you know what I'm saying? Like it's rooted in that culture. You get what I'm saying? Like the minutia and like the kind of like read between the lines elements of hip hop culture when you're looking at it, far and beyond our Black stuff.
Like, so when you say that, you mean like things like graffiti as well, or
just, I mean,
or like the more the
not even arguing graffiti, but like the form of its representation. You know, how it takes form, right? And music is the backdrop for a lot of this shit. Like when you see graffiti, you think of hip hop.
Oh, for
When you
sure.
see a breakdancer with sound off, you think hip hop. You know, or you think in hip hop music is what I mean, or rap music, right?
Yeah.
So
If there's four elements,
that's the
there.
water element, like that one element that kind of binds all the shit
Exactly.
together, right? You feel me?
Yeah. The main
So
element is the
word. So
right.
that I think we kind of did the back, you know, the short cliff notes on like where that came from and what that is a representation of our
For
culture,
sure.
black culture,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and then these other facets branch off, you know what I'm saying, or branch off in core
Right.
ways, not like, oh, they're just subtle things. It's like, no, these are the core elements, yeah. But like the music kind of, I think, drives a lot of it.
Is the driving force.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
And that
Yeah.
it comes the break beats and all the music and all that was black music. It was soul and it
Oh,
was
for sure.
funk and it
Yeah.
was, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying,
It was
jazz
the
and shit. So like the seeds that were planted were black seeds to
right.
make the plant that was hip hop and
Right.
then all the shit that came up of it. You feel
For
me?
sure.
So
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's like one of those things where like if you're ground level with a lot of things, the the small things that are mixed in won't always get credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I don't think we would say small, but like
or the things that
the
aren't the
things.
prominent, right?
Yeah, you know.
Like that aren't the most prominent thing, right? Like because there's obviously been as long as there's been hip hop, you know, you've had probably some white rapper somewhere, right? But the
Everybody is
yeah,
participating and it was
exactly,
grassroots. It was in one location before it got to everybody and we all could say, all right, this is one thing. So it's bubbling,
right,
everyone's jumping in, blah 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 blah. But when it bubbled over in the very first Sugar Hill gang, you know, who
right,
the fuck, like
exactly.
they were a bunch of niggas, you know
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
for sure.
So
And even outside of that, like all the like the culture was obviously black people. You
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
guess my point is like if you have like let's say you have 100 people, right? You know, and let's say 90 of them are the party goers,
Mm-hmm.
and then 10 of them are the party throwers
Mm-hmm.
and the DJs and the MCs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the population is 90% black and 10% Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
You will likely have, you know, 9 Puerto Ricans in the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
81 black people, and then a couple Puerto
Yeah,
Rican
yeah,
homies,
1%, yeah.
you know, throwing the
But
party too.
conversely,
You
I have
know?
no doubt that there was an all Puerto Rican party that was hip hop the fuck out.
Right,
You know, in
exactly.
their neighborhood, on their
Right,
with
for
their
sure.
spin, whatever. You feel me? But I'm imagine the artists they were listening to and the style that they were, you know, they
Right.
incorporate their culture into it, yada yada. That's why I mean it's a sticky topic because in
It's
order to verify one thing, it kind of inadvertently sounds like you're taking from another. And I don't want to take
yeah.
any kind of like gloss off of my brothers, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no,
Because they
exactly.
y'all
That's what
core
you.
contributors. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like there were crazy legs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
there are undeniable examples of like, nah, y'all are gang. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So let's get that off the table. It's really just about my nigga. Like you know, let's
Like,
keep it a thou
yeah,
out. Going
keep it a
back to the
buck.
real roots of it all, to be literal and facetious. Like we need our shit. Niggas
For
got to be able to
sure.
claim something.
You
You know what
have
I'm
to.
saying?
No,
Like, and it's
honestly.
not anti y'all. It's pro
No.
us. You feel me?
Yeah.
Niggas got to have our shit. Niggas don't claim the blues. We can't have the blues. We can't have jazz. We can't have rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? We can't have our style. Cornrows,
we keeping
nigga.
this.
You feel me?
You mean boxer braids?
Box bird? Get the
boxer
bro,
braids?
my nigga, like
yeah,
the
sure.
forces, bro. Like you seen
Right.
the dirty forces?
The dirty forces.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
white girls wear the dirty, like the super
dirty
tight,
Air Force
busted
ones.
Air Forces. But
That's
that's
a
the
trend
look
now.
though.
Oh wow.
Like Shorty will be like at the Starbucks, both legs like crossed up, busted.
Just beat shoes.
Yeah. But it's like
Kendrick
that's
album.
the look,
Kendrick's album.
nigga, bro. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Every little thing, nigga. Nelly didn't get no bread. You know what I'm saying?
Who?
For the Air Force One song.
Oh yeah.
You feel me?
Should have.
Not that I know of. Yeah, not that I know of. I didn't see him in no commercial or nothing. They didn't put him in the Nike commercial that I know of.
Yeah,
You
no,
feel
I
me?
feel you though. No, and that's really the reality of it. And even if you I guess my point is just to be
Allegedly.
clear was my point just to be clear was that even if you do look closely and you see that there are other contributions within it, you can if the dominant force is of a certain culture, and then you can look historically and see where it's coming from, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? And I think it's just one of those things where a lot of people, especially someone like a Crazy Legs or someone that's like, when I was living in Pomona, like all those years growing up in Pomona, the homies that I knew that were taggers, they weren't on some like there's different types of taggers, right? Yeah, tag bangers that were like borderline fucking shows and shit, and then you had ones that were on some hip hop shit, like core hip hop purity, like the pure like b-boy shit, So
what them niggas say on Breaking Shit, we're soul skaters.
Right,
we're soul painters, nigga.
on some true graffiti.
Yeah, that was
shit,
dead ass. Me and my friend, we were also like, bro, like, we're changing the world.
Oh, dude, like when I was going through that phase, that era in life and shit, I was like,
don't you wish you? I don't want to cut you off. Please carry on with that, but like, sidebar, don't you wish you could have just like clasped onto that feeling forever? Like, I'm about to take them to the world, bro. With paint, nigga, I'm about to keep painting.
I still want to bomb everything.
Nigga.
Yeah,
I want to do that reels and like create a animation. Like
that crazy. Feeling didn't really fade until the last few years, but yeah, man. But no, that we were on some shit back then where it was just like you said, purity. It was like anything that seemed mainstream. There was still a separation back then of like mainstream and like underground. And it was like mainstream was fucking. It was mainstream. It was trash. It was commercial. All that shit. Then you get older, you mature. You're like, hey, I'm trying to actually get some money.
Yeah. Or like, I want to do art that doesn't get buffed, or like that like doesn't get whacked out, or like that I can sell, like legit. Like someone's like, yo, that shit's so hard. Like I want to, I want to do that on someone's wall, like commissioned. You feel me? Your ambitions change, your priorities change.
Ambitions change.
Yeah.
Hey,
to kind of thing, like put a bow on the hip hop thing is like, look, I think that hip hop, like every other musical art form, and by way of that, the culture that came with it, has been sometimes against our will, but it's been inclusive. You know what I'm saying? There's Vanilla Ice got by, you know what I'm saying, in a time when it was flooded with just like this, it's always flooded. You feel me? So like the highest selling artist or one of all time is Eminem's white boy, who looks very white and is very white, and who won't argue like, no, I'm a guest in the house of like what hip hop is, being a black art form. He talks about it in his music, he talks about it now, and but will also stand firm in his place of like, if like I think it was can't remember one of the OG rappers who was coming at him, and he basically cooked him because he tried to do a diss track. But not to go on a tangent, is we're all here cooperating, all working together, making great shit. You know what I'm saying? Making hits, making classics. I don't want to be a player no more. That's Fat Joe. He's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
Great fucking song. Dude.
Yeah. Puerto Rican. Not Puerto Rican. Fat Joe, he was fucking.
He's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, he's Puerto
Rican. Yeah. Shout out to Fat Joe, man.
Shout out to Fat Joe. He was a graffiti writer.
Yeah.
Way back then, too.
Bro, like, come on, my nigga. Like, shout out to my, like, and no one will ever, God forbid, strike you down if you try to take from what he did. He contributed to the black art form. You feel me? And, he's beloved where he's beloved. Like, shout out to him.
Is there a point where it becomes, for someone that's not black, are they always participating in someone else's culture, or are they part of the culture?
You can be a part of it. I think like if you, and I'm not saying these are the like actual qualifications. Like I'm the guy. Like look, this is if you don't meet this criteria, nigga, don't even say like. But I'm just saying. I think some off the cuff like qualifies. Like yo, you grew up in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Your best friend, girlfriend, your mom's boyfriend, your stepdad, or just around you, or you just you're taking it in on your own time. Let's say you live in Nebraska or some shit, like, but you're really, really, really taking it in. You know what I'm saying? And you have some type of bubble around you or something like that. I think that's being a part of the culture. I think you're contributing by being a consumer and by listening and churning the the or turning the wheel, so to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
just being a part of the keeping the whole shit moving. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fucked up to like. I think that there's a because I'm speaking on one end, I'm like gatekeeping in the sense of like claiming shit, like this is ours. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's important to always maintain that like this is our shit. Largely because of history, like we're just like
That's
not allowed
that's
to
what I was
laugh
just gonna
our own shit.
say.
But also,
Yeah.
like, no, nigga, like claim what you
Yeah.
did. This is your shit.
It
But
wouldn't. It
at
wouldn't
the
be.
same time, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Yeah, at
Finish.
the same time, I think that there's like a kind of a graciousness of like, okay, you're down. Like I fuck with you.
Right, right,
You
right.
know what's
We're
hitting.
always inviting within our
Bro, we've
culture.
always been like that. You feel me? Like
Hey, he cool.
he cool,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, I ain't
What I was gonna
tripping.
say was that I feel like you black people have to be that way, and any culture that's kind of been marginalized, and any minority in a lot of senses, you end up having to be that way because if not, you end up getting taken advantage of. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a history of being taken
Even
advantage
when
of,
we
and
try to like
yeah,
cover our
you
shit,
know.
niggas would be like, like box breaks. Like,
Right,
you feel
exactly.
me?
Like
Like,
we're gonna take this and we're just gonna water it
yeah,
down, and
yeah.
and I guess like sometimes people I guess don't understand the sensitivity there, but no, I totally understand that shit. It's like
Mm-hmm.
got to protect what in a perfect world, it's like hey everyone, like it's
Mm-hmm.
all love. We don't who cares where it came from? Like we're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
enjoying
yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
but in a world that we actually live in, it's
Right.
like, nah, let's make sure that because you'll grab this shit,
Mm-hmm.
secure it, and then kick us out the bitch.
So
Fucking
that's
trademark
where
the
who
bitch.
cares where it came from matters. You feel
Right,
me? Because
exactly.
that's the history and that's
Documenting
my
that shit
receipt.
for sure.
It's always cool till you come up and it's like, oh yeah, like this shit, this swag, this whole thing, this me, and like this is my culture. It's like whoa, whoa, whoa. Not only is that not yours, like you stole that, but like there's history and there's all kinds of like scars on that. You can't just
Yeah,
put
for
that
sure.
on.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Chill, bro.
For
Yeah, you
sure.
feel
And
me?
then like I guess it like and this is why like when I started the conversation, I was like, how you kind of have like a certain opinion, and then as you kind of go and think further on the topic, like maybe one person I was listening to, like Urban Politicians TV. You ever fuck with him? Hey, Urban Politicians TV. I fuck with him. I like most of the things that he says. Sometimes I'm like, like I don't agree with him all the
Mm-hmm.
time and shit, but overall, I think he's a respectful dude and he puts out a good product. But he was talking about uh, this shit and wait, what the fuck was I just saying? Oh, but no. All right. So when he was talking about it, I was kind of like, it was kind of rubbing me the wrong way and shit. I was just like, all right, I see what you're saying, but I don't really fuck with it that much.
Mm-hmm.
But then as we're having this conversation forward, I'm like, I could see people having different levels of defensiveness on that topic, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
someone might be like, oh no, there's Puerto Ricans in it, and everyone's part of it, right? And just be like a very casual look at it. Some people might be looking at hip hop not only through the lens of even those fucking four elements or rap or whatever, but looking at it through like a black struggle, right? Like the experience that come along with it. Trayvon Martin, fucking, you know what I mean? Like his hip hop, right? Like it ends up being part of that fucking hoodie that you wear. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
it becomes deeper than just the
Yeah, political, talking about
political,
Donald Trump, talking
fucking
about,
Obama,
going
like
back to like Public Enemy, you know what I'm
right,
saying? Like
yeah,
all of that shit. Like there's like you said, it's so much more nuanced and when your ears are trained for it. I mean,
right,
I feel the
for
same way
sure,
listening to soul music, or like
yeah,
funk, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Listening to
for
the
sure,
Isley Brothers or
right,
something. Like
right,
there's
right,
a certain just a twang about it. There's something in the way niggas say shit. You're just
yeah,
like, oh yeah, like that's my uncle. We got an Uncle Isley, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
for
Like
sure.
that's what I'm
Every
saying,
black
bro.
person
And
does,
conversely, like I might participate in some, and forgive me if I'm not, some merengue or some
right,
fucking
right, right,
Cubano music or some,
right,
whatever. You
right,
feel me? Some salsa.
right,
And what if I get good at it and I'm dancing and
right, right,
I
right,
start singing in the native tongue and woo woo woo. I'm still participating in another culture. I'm contributing.
right,
I'm likening the art to people who
for
maybe they
sure,
wouldn't have fucked with it. Blah 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 blah.
yeah,
So kudos to me. But when it comes to like what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm doing Latin music. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Like
right, right,
that's
for sure,
and hats off to them and vice versa. Everybody, if you and it's also there's a qualifying element there. It was for a very long time. I think this still is for the most part. You got to be good. So, like you said, in a perfect world, it's like who not who cares, but who cares? Are you good? You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
Are you trying to jump in here,
right,
trying to act black or trying to be a part of the gang,
right.
but you're trash? It's like double get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? But like if you're hot, like do your thing, do your thing. Fat Joe, do your thing, my nigga.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cardi B, do your
for sure.
thing. We love
sure.
you.
I just need you to play that black tax. I need you to
play that black tax. Black tax is fucking wild. I feel like I'm paying black tax.
Nigga, I'm out here playing black taxes.
Right. That's funny.
But no, all right. Hey, so no, I feel you on that, and yeah, no, good shit though. Yeah. So all right, so fucking,
that was kind of a history bit. Where are you at with hip hop now? Like today's hip hop because that's a broad stroke. It's like, where are you at with hip hop? Like, right. Where you at the weather? But like, where's your heart with hip hop? Because we're both some hip hop heads. We love a good just the I'll speak for myself, lyrics, music, the flow, the goofy kind of like abstract shit. I'm all the whole thing. Is dope to me.
I love hip hop, but like I love it. But I guess the way that I take it in now is like, fucking I'm not really as adventurous as much as I used to be. You know what I mean? Like I got certain things that I like pay attention to. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I used to fuck with him heavy, and like kind of ended up branching off, listening to people that he fucked with, Conrad, or Conrad, I think it is. But like he has like Conrad.
Oh, from Nip.
He's
Nip's
he's one of the local dudes, but he's pretty dope, and he's done some things. But I fuck with Draco. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Dope
that
style. Nigga's great.
Yeah,
shout out to you, Draco.
Yeah.
There's like, oh
crazy
man, he's
style.
fucking awesome, dog.
He's dope. Yeah,
he's awesome.
I would say that like I fuck